All right, we're good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Yanks of the Cop. We are here for our pre-match Champions League Game 5 at home against Ajax. I'm your host, Steven. As always, joined by my brother, Andrew, and our main lad, Wahomie. And today we have two very special guests. You'll know Claire from her Twitter profile, Claire's Customs. Awesome, awesome paintings. And her husband, Jeff. They are LFC season ticket holders. Thank you so much for joining us today. How you guys doing?
Welcome. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
Anytime. Seriously, anytime. Claire, big fan of your work. I'm probably going to be purchasing some stuff after in the next couple of weeks now that I just got paid again. So, but let's get right down into it. We got some breaking news right before we even launched today. So, sounds like there is potential that Alisson may be missing the game tomorrow. Not exactly sure. I've heard COVID. I've heard injuries. But right now, all signs are pointing to Adrian coming back into our Liverpool hearts and getting into the lineup tomorrow. So let's start there. And Claire and Jeff, why don't you kick us off? What are your thoughts?
Well, we've heard from this side of the pond that we've got probably the team for tomorrow. My mate sends me the team on the last couple of weeks, and it's been right for the last 4 weeks. So I could give you a rundown of the team.
Please do.
You can get back to me for tomorrow, and I think it will be 100% right. So we have Adrian in goal, Nico Williams right back, Matip and Fabinho centre half, and then Robbo's going to play left back. In the midfield, it's going to be Gini Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Curtis Jones going to come back in. And then up front, we're going with a front three of Salah, Mane, and Jota.
Wow.
Again, it's looking as a 4-3-2-1 formation with Jota up top on his own, but the lads helping him from the sides.
Interesting.
What are your guys' thoughts on that when you hear that? Because I was anticipating, I think, a little bit more rotation. So, I mean, Jeff and Claire, what are your thoughts? I think it's a pretty strong lineup for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's strong without, obviously, Alisson. We would obviously like Alisson to play, but we don't know what's happened. Is it an injury? Is it COVID?
Maybe it's just a rumour. Maybe he is playing.
The rumor.
Yeah, hopefully it's a rumour.
Although someone said he wasn't in the pictures for Brighton game, then he featured. So
yeah,
hopefully it's crossed. Although Adrian did play the Ajax 1-0 away game, so it's not as dreadful as you think it is, because he did clean sheet then.
Yeah, just about.
Just about.
Yeah.
Them last few minutes were a bit painful for us.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I remember. Yeah, I was sweating on that one. I remember. I think it was Nat Phillips had that nice, awesome clearing header inside the 6-yard box in that game, and we can't let it get down to that point again, coming down to the last couple of minutes. But honestly, when I hear that lineup, I think for me the biggest thing that stands out is that back line. Having Fabinho and Matip start at the center back spots, that makes it interesting for me, because I thought we'd see a little bit more rotation. I think, especially with how we performed against Atalanta, it seems to me that Klopp is just confident that we'll get to win against Midtjylland and get through. But Wahomie, what did you think when you kind of hear this potential lineup for tomorrow?
I thought Mane would be rested because he looked knackered against Brighton when he came on. He didn't really, he had the offside goal, but he really didn't influence the game that much. And I think he's not in form, because I think he's not scored in 8 or 9 games now. So I think he could have needed a rest. And I thought he was going to play Bobby, Salah, Jota. So I'm surprised that Mane's starting. I'd like to give Gini Wijnaldum a rest, because I think he's on burnout. Yeah. He's not a machine. He's been our best player. He's played too much football. So
there's not too much to pick from though at the moment.
Yeah, that's the issue. So I was trying to, when I was creating my own lineup this morning, I was thinking, well, you've got to play Gini. There's no other option, because Miller out. There's no other option. So I just hope he's not burnout, because I think we need Wijnaldum big time for Sunday, because his pressing against Wolves can be a hard game. That. So
I thought they could have put Reece Williams in the center back and maybe put Fabinho in the midfield, but clearly he wants to solidify that defensive line and really protect Adrian if he's going to be the one in goal. Which actually, now that you're saying that, it definitely makes sense if that is the case.
Yeah.
But I'm getting behind my main man. I'm getting behind Adrian.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of Liverpool fans out there. There's been a lot of pessimism about this. I mean, A, we're top of the league, but B, what other guy would you want in goal to come back in for Alisson than the most optimistic guy in the world?
Yeah, obviously, because like last season, when Alisson didn't play when he got injured in the first game of the season against Norwich, and we went on, he done 7 games, and we won all 7 games. And then if it wasn't for him, us winning them 7 games, we might have won the league. So you can't ask for anyone better at this time, really, that we know. Better than
I mean, he's definitely due for a big mistake pretty much every game, every 90 minutes. But, last time we played against Ajax, we got a clean sheet. So I'm going to back him. I'm not going to criticize him. Let's just get behind him and get a W.
I think the thing with Adrian is you want to put him in places to be successful. And one thing that we can do to avoid, help avoid some of these mistakes is limit the back passes back to him. He is not good with his feet. He is not good at distribution. I think his best quality is overall just shot stopping, right? So take that part out of his hands. Do not allow him to play with the ball with his feet. And if you do have to hit a back pass, I want to just have 1 or 2 touch, either just clear it out or 1 touch and then you clear it out. Like no more of this messing around, no more trying to pass out of the back. Just forget it. Just allow our guys to press, allow the guys to try to win the ball back, and just limit the mistakes that he can make. And even the team as a whole right now, I feel like a lot of the mistakes that we've been making have been from our back line and even our midfielders trying to pass out of the back, and we have a costly turnover in our final third. I think if we can limit that and just allow Adrian to do what he does best, and that is block a shot, he'll be okay. Just don't ask him to do too much.
Yeah,
I agree. And I think the inclusion of Jordan Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum could help someone like Nico Williams have a better game than he's been having recently. I mean, Hendo provides a lot of cover for that right side naturally when Trent's in the game or when Trent's in the lineup, and also having a seasoned vet like Joel Matip behind you should help his confidence, I would think.
I would agree.
Yeah. I think Jordan Henderson coming into the team brings obviously a lot because he's the captain and his voice is well heard within the team and everyone respects him and everyone listens. So I think the lads will step up the game knowing that he's starting from the beginning than rather coming on from off the bench like we've seen against Brighton.
I think they'll add some more confidence as well when Hendo's on. I think he makes a big difference with the confidence. So especially the young ones as well.
Right.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially for a guy like Nico Williams, I think he would he'd be miles better with a guy like Henderson in there. Henderson just knows how to cover him, how to communicate with him, and then having Fabinho and Matip, 2 more senior guys, and especially a guy like Fabinho who I think can use his voice a little bit more than Matip does. That'll help him, help his positioning, hopefully help him make less mistakes in the back. But Bahome, I wanted to go back to you here because Ajax, like we said, we won 1-0 last game. Right now in the standings, Liverpool has 9 points. Atalanta and Ajax are tied with 7. And Ajax actually has the advantage on goal differential by 1 goal. So how do you anticipate Ajax coming out in this game? Like, do you think they play for a draw knowing that if they get the win against Atalanta, they're through? Or how would you see them coming against us at Anfield? Well,
I just saw a stat now. I was looking, and it says that Ajax have beaten their last 11 away games in the Champions League. So, and they also have a fully fit squad this time round. Apparently, there's no one. They said there's no one injured, so they're likely to line up with Traore, Tadic, Neres. That's a good pacey attack. So, I don't think at all. They should be taken lightly. I think they're a good team. Obviously they got that draw at Atlanta when it was 2-2 when they threw away a 2-0 lead. If I was Ajax, I think they would probably come in to not lose and get a draw because they've got Atalanta at home in the next game, and they probably would be confident of getting a result there. So I think they'll probably come and play in the counter attack. Hopefully get not concede and just try and counter-attack us and use the pace of Neres and Traore on the break to trouble us. And they'll probably target Nico Williams If I was Ajax, I'd put Neres on Nico Williams' side and target him, because as much as Jordan Henderson's going to be there, there's only so much you can do, really, in terms, because obviously, it's still going to be down to Nico to manage his positioning and obviously not be as rash as he did against Brighton, where he unnecessarily dived in when he didn't need to. So they'll probably target him, and I think all the attacks will be on down that side. So if we're going to be playing Adrian as well in goal, then that's a lot of pressure on Liverpool's back line to cancel out two potential, I don't want to be harsh, but I'd say heart and mouth moments on that, you're saying, because Adrian is heart and mouth, like a heart attack. You're always on edge. And then Williams, because of his inexperience, that is something that, someone like Tadic would know, who are quite experienced in the Champions League, would target. So I think the key for us against Ajax is just a fast start, which we didn't have again, and also we need to be more clinical. So I think that's how they're set up to not get beat, knowing that they've got Atalanta at home the next game. So it's just down to us to. For me, I know some people are saying the draw's good enough. I want us to win this game because I don't want us to finish second. Because although finishing second, it means that you might end up with a harder tie earlier on. And we've got injuries still. I'd rather not have to face someone like a Bayern Munich this early on with players injured. Although it depends, if we finish first, we could get Atletico Madrid again. But I'd rather take these chances on finishing first than second and getting a harder team. So I think, to me, tomorrow night's a must-win for me. We have to have a fast start, be clinical, and take the game to Ajax.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if I'm Ajax, I'd probably try to weather the storm for the first 45 minutes. I mean, everybody in Europe knows how knackered that we are. It's no mystery there. So I mean, in the second half, they're going to come out firing. They're going to come out all full on attack. Guys like Gini Wijnaldum. How many games of 90 minutes has he been playing recently? I think it's been at least 5 consecutive, including internationally. So I mean, yeah, I think that's going to be tough for us. I think that they're just going to kind of weather the storm in the first half. I mean, they're coming to Anfield. It'll be tough for them for a little while, but then once our stamina starts to go a little bit, there starts being some fatigue, I think that's when they'll try to pounce. I mean, I know recently they've been kind of smoking the teams that are in the Dutch league with them. They have a pretty big lead in the table there. So I don't think they've really been troubled. And now that the Champions League, they're going to go for the top spot. I don't think anybody wants to play Bayern Munich. I know I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, when I think about this game, especially from a Liverpool standpoint, it's two things. Number one, defensively, stay organized, stay compact, because that front three, especially, like we said, they're going to focus Nico Williams. So if we can just keep our positioning tight, stay organized, have cover for our wing backs, I think that's going to help us a lot. But then, not even from a clinical standpoint, before that, I just want to see us be more crisp with our passing and our movement. I feel like the last few games, our passing's been awful. Our delivery to our front three has been pretty non-existent. When those guys find the ball, they're trying to create offense on their own, and they're getting the ball in non-dangerous areas. I think we need to do a better job of getting these guys in the right place to attack this back line and put them in a position to be successful. Guys like Salah and Mane, like I would take them one-on-one against just about anybody, and they really haven't had many opportunities in the last couple of weeks to have a chance to do that. And other than Jota kind of pulling stuff out of his ass here and there, I think our offense is in pretty subpar. So that's the area I want to see. I want to see our midfielders and especially the guy like Robertson. Let's get our front three in a position to get the ball, turn on a defender, and put a shot on net, because the last few games, I mean, I think we had 0. Do we even have a shot on net against Atalanta? I don't think we did. So just something that we need to do better on. But Jeff and Clare, I wanted to go back over to you guys because with where we are in the table, we're first in our group, tied for first in the Premier League, and I think we still have 8 more games now until the new year. Do you think that this game is more of a must-win for us, so we can rest a little bit against Midtjylland and kind of focus on the Premier League? So we have a huge game against the Wolves on Sunday.
It's listening to you talking about we it's better to finish at the top, but sometimes it's not always. Like you see, we've done it against coming second, playing Bayern Munich, but then at the time we are now with so many injuries, I think it is probably best to finish top, try and get it all sewn up so you can rest key players in the next game, the final game of it, so we can concentrate on the league through December, because there's a lot of games through December. So obviously try and finish top.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, go ahead, Claire. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Just try and get it wrapped up, I think, tomorrow, and then you can concentrate on the league then.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really important too. I mean, especially because I think this Wolves game, especially if this lineup ends up being the lineup it is, that's most of our first team guys that we have available. And I think, especially with Wolves now not having the guy like Jimenez for the next game, I think that we might see a little bit more rotation for that game. And I think that if we do end up going with this lineup, especially with that front 3 playing and Gini and Henderson in there, this is a must win, because we need to get all 3 points. And if we can just go into Midtjylland thinking, if we just get a draw, we clinch the top of the table, then I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think also Klopp's probably banking on the fact that he might have Naby, Trent and Shaq back for the weekend from what he sounded like today. So maybe he's going strong with the idea I'll be able to rotate on the weekend. But yeah, I'll say it again. I think after I've disagreed with the lineup against Atalanta, as I said before, I thought we should have gone stronger in that game and won that. Because then we could have been resting today, tomorrow, and against Midtjylland. So I think we have to win this tomorrow, just to get it done and dusted, and give us that breathing space. Because I know we've got Fulham after Midtjylland, but I'd rather not have to go to Midtjylland needing a result.
Right.
That's what we do, though, man. That's what Liverpool does. We keep
but it's cold. It's cold over there. It's cold over there. It's dark. It's on some Danish club no one's ever heard of before. They're qualified.
Yeah.
When we go in there, needing a result.
Mane would probably get COVID, something like that.
Yeah, or it's an injury. We don't need to be going there having to play a strong team, risking an injury when we've got Fulham on the weekend after that. And that's going to be that's a Wednesday to Saturday one. That one. So it's not necessary. So I think it's easy just to win tomorrow and get it done with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in complete agreement with Wahomie. I thought that the Atalanta match, that was the one to really try to win. I think that I don't understand this argument that people had where, what Klopp did and bring on some of our best players in the second half in the 60th minute was the way to go. I think you should have started the game on the front foot, really attacked them, set the tone. They're getting tired throughout the match. And then, maybe we put a goal in, then maybe make some substitutions. By that point, we already have control of the game, and hopefully it would continue that way. I think he rolled the dice a little bit in that game, but because of that and because of our upcoming match against Wolves, I don't know if this one is a must-win or if he'll consider it a must-win. I think that maybe we would go for a draw just because of our current injury situation. Obviously, we're so exhausted. We have Wolves the weekend, but then maybe put everybody on the pitch against Midtjylland and to really go for that. If we can get a draw out of this, maybe at Ajax and Atalanta draw in the final match and we can get a win and get the number 1 spot next week.
Well, I think going off of what you said, I think the key thing with this game is that, remember, we have the 5 subs. And I think what Klopp's doing is doing what we thought he was going to do against Atalanta. He's playing the stronger side now. If like Wahomie said, if we can start quick, be clinical, get a goal or two
but
early.
Who are you going to bring in for the midfield? There's nobody to bring in.
Who are you going
to bring in?
Midtjylland, we might have some of the players coming back from injury. So if we get a draw tomorrow or tonight, and then we go into the Midtjylland game needing a win or needing to get a result out of it, we might have Thiago back, And
No, did you see the thing today? Did you see the thing about Thiago today?
Thiago.
I think it was Liverpool Echo saying that he might not start play again this year.
Yeah,
Really?
I said that, yeah.
Yeah.
This
I
calendar.
haven't seen that. I've been out work all day. I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
so when I saw that, my heart sunk. I thought when Klopps said a few weeks, I was like, it doesn't sound. A few weeks doesn't sound right. Like because originally when he got injured,
it's a horrible tackle, like really. So he has had problems before with injury as well in the past, like long injuries at Bayern Munich and stuff like that. So it's just unfortunate, really.
No, I agree with you, Jeff, though. I think that I think when maybe Trent can come back next week, Naby Keita, maybe James Milner, Shaqiri, that's the reinforcements that we could utilize.
Yeah, it gives us a lot more creativity up front, like we were talking about before, about giving the front three something to feed off. When you haven't got the full-backs bombing forwards and giving them passes, or Naby Keita in the midfield stringing a pass through to one of the front three, we haven't got that midfield. It's only been Gini Wijnaldum at the moment, and he's played a lot of games, and he does look tired. He looks a bit leggy, where he has played a lot of time, but we just need another player in the midfield to be able to step up and be able to be creative in the middle of the park.
Yeah. Right now, our reinforcements coming into the midfield are Minamino and Roberto Firmino. So it's like, I don't know.
Clarkson.
Yeah, but how old is he?
19.
Has he played in the Champions League ever? I don't think so.
No, it's not. It's in the squad. He is talented though, like Clarkson.
I'm sure he is.
Exactly, but I think that's why he's going with this lineup, knowing that we're probably going to have a little bit more reinforcements for Wolves, and we can, sub some of those guys out for that game. Like that's the only thing that makes sense, because, like you said, we literally don't have an option at midfield. Like pretty much these guys have to play. But I don't know if I want a guy like Henderson playing a whole 90 tomorrow with him just coming back. Like the last thing we need is for him to push it too hard too early and then go right back on the sideline again. So It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for sure. But we all kind of touched on it a little bit, but when you think about the Liverpool potential lineup for tomorrow, who do you think is the most important guy on there? Who needs to have the biggest game for us in order to get the win?
I think Henderson. I just think we miss him when he's not playing. We missed him in the last game, so I think definitely.
Yeah, I think as you've seen against Brighton at the weekend when he came on at half time, it did change the game. We did have 2 early chances early on in the game to probably put it to bed, but after that we didn't really have much until he came on in the second half, and we got the goal and we got a couple disallowed. So I think Henderson makes a big difference to the team when he plays.
Absolutely, yeah. His leadership's unmatched. But homie, what do you think? Who's the biggest guy? Who needs to have the best game tomorrow for us?
I think the one who plays next to Nico Williams at centre back, because he's going to have if it's Fabinho next to him when they play on the right, he's going to have a big role in terms of protecting Nico Williams, instructing him, and also worrying about Adrian behind in goal and making sure that there's not plenty of pass backs. And also I think what I was thinking is when we don't play Fabinho at centre back right now, he's the only one from defence that can play long balls forward. Sort of Madrid can do as well, but I think Fabinho does it best out of the two compared to Van Dijk and Gomez. So I think he's going to need to have a big game tomorrow, because especially he's going to be dealing with some fast wingers and fast forwards. So I think that he needs to have a good game. So if he doesn't have a good game and we get exposed on the right hand side, then it could be a long night. Because we don't want to write off Ajax, and actually because they are a good team, and then probably if we have an off night again, they are capable of coming to Anfield and winning. So I think it's important that he has a really good game.
I would have said Jordan Henderson. I'll try to switch it up a little bit. I think it has to be one of the front three, either Sadio Mane or Mo Salah. I mean, either of those guys, they can beat a man and put it in the top corner, and if they can get going early, Mane has been a little off form recently. His touches haven't really been there. His passing hasn't really been there. So I think he's due for a goal. Mo Salah obviously had one pulled back, as did Mane last game. But I mean, if one of them can have a really big game and get us up and going right from the start, that's the difference maker for me. So I would hope for a Salah or Mane goal early on.
You might see an angry Mo because he was furious against Brighton.
Very true.
So hopefully he's got a point to prove.
Yeah.
I want to see an angry Adrian. He has a big point to prove.
I would say for me, I think my first choice would have been Henderson. My second choice would have been either Salah or Mane. But now that I think about it, I think we need another. He's probably been one of our more consistent players, but I think we need another strong performance out of Andy Robertson. For all the reasons that I was kind of mentioning earlier, we're lacking that ball into the front three to get these guys into a place to be effective. And I think if he can bomb down the wing, beat his guy a couple of times, and put in some decent crosses, that's where our offense is going to come from. Especially, with Henderson in and out of the lineup, we don't really create much of anything going forward through the midfield. We're really missing guys like, obviously Thiago, but Keita and Shaqiri as well, who can just slide those awesome through balls through. So I think for me, if Robertson can show up and have a really good dominant performance going forward, I think that'll take care of a lot of question marks for us, especially up top.
I think we're also discounting Nico Jones's creativity. He has created a few chances in terms of in games, and he's actually, that creativity side is coming through in terms of like chances he's creating. So he could also add something different in terms of creativity going forward tomorrow.
Well, I guess for me, it's like which Curtis Jones are we going to get? Because we've seen the best of him, but we've also seen him be completely pedestrian in games this year where hasn't really been around the ball and really hasn't shown up at all. So that's my question: is which one are we going to get? Because if we get the good one, then we're going to be in really good shape.
Well, I think what was it? I think Atlanta, he was knackered after the Leicester game because he ran his arse off against Leicester and was outstanding. So with him rested, well, I know he played again a little bit in Brighton, but with him a bit more rested, hopefully we'll see the energetic Curtis Jones again.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. But I mean, with that being said, let's get into our match predictions. So, Claire and Jeff, why don't you guys start? What do you got for the score line and potential scorers for us?
I think 2-1 for us. What's yours? Probably different.
I'd probably start with for the 2-2 draw. I just don't want a defeat. I'd take the points all day if it came to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. At any point we can get. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, I think every time I've been on this show, I've given us a win. I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna agree with Jeff. I think it's gonna be like a 1-1 draw. And honestly, I would take that. These guys are really good, and that front three that they have is very attacking minded. So I hope Nico shows up.
For me, I'm going to go with Claire 2-1. I think Ajax will score. I'm not disputing that. I think they will get a goal, but I think due to Salah and Jota, we'll find a way. They'll find us a way through. That's why I'm going with 2-1 win.
I like it.
Well, I'm gonna get a little more cocky than everybody. I'm gonna say 3-1 Liverpool, and I think that we actually are gonna be clearly the better team tomorrow. I think we're gonna have a huge lift having Matip and Fabinho at center back, and if Henderson starts, I think the team's gonna come out really strong. Salah's gonna come out with a point to prove. He's gonna be really freaking pissed off. Mane got some rest last game, so maybe he'll have some more legs underneath him. And I just think if we can control the midfield, if Gini, Ronaldo, and Henderson do what we know that they can do, I just don't see a way that Ajax will be able to consistently create the chances that they need to score. So I'm going to say 3-1 Liverpool. Let's pray to God that happens, and we clinch and go through to the knockout stages. But that being said, Jeff and Claire, thank you so much for coming on. But before we go, Claire, how can people find you, and how can people find your artwork and all of your stuff?
I've got my Twitter page, Clare's Customs, my Instagram, Clare's Customs, and I've also got an Etsy shop as well, Clare's Customs, the same. So if anyone would like to buy any artwork, it's all on there.
Yes, please go check it out if you haven't yet. She has some really awesome stuff on there. I'm going to be making some purchases myself. But please go ahead, support your local Reds, support the Reds family. But if you haven't yet, go and hit that like and subscribe button as well. We really appreciate it, so we keep bringing you content like this. But otherwise, up the Reds, and we'll see you next time, everybody.
Thank you for having me on.
See you guys.
Guys, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. And Claire, actually, I have a quick question for you. One of the things that we were talking about doing is for our podcast is talking about doing some sort of like giveaways and stuff like that. So I wanted to see if at some point maybe we could do some sort of collaboration where I'll buy like, a piece of art or two from you, and maybe we do a promotion on Twitter where we're like, hey, follow Claire, follow us on YouTube, and in a month's time, anyone who does it will pull a drawing, and you can get a free picture. And obviously I'll pay for it, and then we'll just send it to them in the mail.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll send you some stuff out.
Cool.
So that's
Yeah, so I'll make sure. I think I already follow you from our main page, but otherwise, I'll just like send you a DM, and we'll kind of work out all the kinks on it. And I think that could be a really fun thing for both of us.
Yeah, all right.
Do you have anything of Adrian?
No. If he plays well tomorrow, I might try and do whatever.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again for joining, guys. And like I said, I'll make sure I DM you with all the information I was thinking about.
Okay.
Perfect.
Make sure you get us back on soon, yeah?
What's that?
Make sure you get us back on soon, yeah?
Yeah.
You want to come back on soon, yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you guys again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely organise something. I'll contact Claire again to organise something.
That's great. Thanks very much.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thanks, Jeff.
Enjoy the game tomorrow. Up the Reds.
Yeah.
All the Reds.